Hello, James Atkins from Vantage Strategy. I wanted on this short video to give you a bit of an overview of the Road to Recovery playbook that I've put together, which is available on my website. And why did I do that? Why have I written a Road to Recovery playbook? Well, most organisations by now have determined what they need to do to get through this period. They've either gone into hibernation, they've shrunk their approach, or they've reshaped how they serve the market given the current conditions. But it's clear that restrictions are going to be progressively relaxed over the next period. Exactly what, we don't know, but we're starting on that path. So it really is the time for us to lift our eyes, if we haven't already, and consider what road do we want to take and how do we want to go there. Some have optimistically talked about a V-shaped recovery or the economy snapping back. I'm not sure that's correct, but I definitely know it's not the right mindset. Because if we take that mindset that we'll just go back to normal, we will have missed a major opportunity to either reset or even just refine some of the things we do to ensure we're even more successful in the future and to be able to actually regrow their businesses where there's been some damage. So this is a unique moment, and therefore, from my perspective, it's time to be bold. It's time for us to actually think about that road to recovery. What does it look like? How are we going to play it? And to me, there's 3 steps. Firstly, review what we've done, reset our strategy, and thirdly, look to regrow. Now, exactly what the future is going to look like is unclear. The pace of loosening will be different in different industries and different sectors. But what is clear is that we're going to be in for a period of significant economic impact, severe stress, and likely a recession. So that is the new reality. It will impact different sectors, different businesses in a multitude of ways. But it is the reality societally and economically that we're going to be operating in. And we need to keep that in mind. Now, that's not a cause for panic. It's actually just a call to action, to rethink. So it's time to plan that road to recovery. And there are 3 steps that I think make sense for everyone to consider. Firstly, review where you've been, reset the strategy and operating model based on the learnings from there, and then set up a marketing and a sales approach to regrow. That, to me, is the key steps you need to take. And I really encourage you to actually think about it. Now, for some businesses, this may feel a bit overwhelming, especially for those that are in a real stressful position around cash and profit. But I would argue that the time is actually even more pressing for you to start to consider these things. So what does a review mean? What does it look like? How do you review? What are the elements you need to think about? So think about, what have you learnt about your customers in the last period, but also over the last few years? Which segments are more valuable? Which are less valuable? What about your people? Which ones do you want to bring forward with you? Which of your people have been leaders and stepped forward during this period, or in fact have stepped back? How robust are your processes and your procedures? Have they stood up to that? Are they actually fit for purpose with what you need to do? And most critically, your value proposition, your competitive advantage. Has it been something that's protected you during this period, or has it shown wanting? So these are all the different areas that you need to look at, and it gives you an opportunity to really reflect. Sectors will be different, as I said. Retail will be quite differently shaped. Digital will impact how customers buy, but also how businesses operate. And that's a real opportunity I'll talk about a little bit later. And we're clearly going to go into a period where consumers, in particular, all of us, are going to look to reconnect, to have better experiences, to get out of the home, but also probably in a more frugal way for many. So I encourage you to look outside your business, look outside your industry, look at other areas and understand the elements that are actually going to impact you and that actually are an opportunity for you to reset. Capture those in a mind map, always a good way, I think. Pareto them, 20% of them will create 80% of the value for you in how you think about your business, and really write down what those implications are. Share those with your leadership team and think it through. So once you've done that review process, the next step is really about resetting. Resetting your strategy and resetting your business model. It may be major, it may be minor. but it is an opportunity to do that. And the sort of questions you should consider is, should you go to market given what you've learned? What will make you successful in the future? It's not necessarily what was success in the past. What will be the competitive advantage that underpins that and has some level of sustainability? Which customer segments should you double down on, and which should you move away from? And what value are you able to deliver for them? And I'll talk about that in a little more in a while. And there's two frameworks that I think really can help that I use with clients. The first is Lafley and Martin's Playing to Win, which is really about strategy, making choices and answering 5 questions. What's your winning aspiration? Where will you play? The products, segments, geographies. How will you win? What's your competitive advantage and value proposition? What capabilities do you need to be able to deliver that? And what management systems do you need to support it? Answering these 5 questions are a really great and effective way to make the core strategic choices based on the implications and the things that you've learned about the business. So once you've refined your strategy, and there are obviously other strategy models, this is one that I think is quite a neat way of doing it, it's around thinking about your business model. What are the elements that come together to deliver that strategy and to ensure that you're successful? Which customer segments? What's the relationship you have with them? What will your distribution be? The value proposition, the activities and resources to support it with your partners and suppliers. And obviously the drivers of revenue and cost that underpin that. This is a really good model to think about how you take your strategy to market. And Strategizer, where this comes from, has some really good tools to help you on that, as do I. So think that through. It's a really effective way of going. The third issue to think about is technology. It's a critical enabler in terms of how you go to market and how you configure yourself to go to market. What underpins your strategy and what can drive your operating model. And I think it's a real enabling catalyst for you if you're able to use technology, digital, all the different areas and models and frameworks that are available to apply technology. And it's technology that comes about by reducing friction points. Reducing friction points for customers, for suppliers, but also how you operate as a business to actually empower your staff and to enable customers to operate. This is a real opportunity to think about it. Those businesses that are able to reshape their supply chains, change the way they engage with customers, look at how they interact with partners and collaborate with others using technology will actually be those that step ahead faster. And I encourage you to really think about that. And if technology hasn't come to the fore as a gap during this period, then think about how it could be an enabler or a catalyst for the future. I've also got an article, a paper I've written on my website on digital transformation that also has some case studies in it and some other considerations to think about technology at this time. So once you've got to that point, you've understood the implications of the review phase, you've looked at what the reset button looks like from a strategy, business model and technology perspective. It's then ready to say, well, how will you go to market? How will you regrow? The Ansop matrix, another model, really good. Think about new markets, old markets, or existing markets, existing products and new products. This is a great way to tease out developing that value proposition and offering in a deeper way. And similarly, the product surround model, which looks at what's the core of your offer, what problems and needs do you solve, and how do you actually develop the surround, the services, the supporting piece that actually can provide a disproportionate benefit for customers. So the core is obvious, what you do. The surround are the things that actually envelop your core, create value for customers, but they need to be based on the problems and needs that you're looking to serve for customers. Now this model, there's a video on this on my website as well to help you. This is a great exercise to do with your team. So that's 2 models that are really effective in terms of thinking about products and markets, but also thinking about how you deliver value from your product in a more broader sense for customer needs. Then the third stage really of the regrow phase is around setting up your sales and marketing. What is your marketing strategy to take those products to address those markets to enable sales to occur. And really thinking through that sales and marketing strategy based on those deep consumer and market insights, the learnings you have both recently and more recent, more in the past, or and also the strategy and operating model you want to focus on. So, regrow, reset, review, regrow, reset. All three stages for you to do. But at this point, you need to think about it in a holistic sense. Maybe you've already moved to the regrow stage. You might need to make sure you've really reviewed what's happened to date. You've properly reset, whether small or large, and you've been able to set yourself up for growth in the future. But there's also time at this point for a reality check. Are you actually able to implement the changes you propose? Does your team have the capability? Are your leaders aligned and empowered and enthusiastic and motivated for the future? These are sort of questions, that change readiness, that's really critical, and encourage you to think about that. And there's change success diagnostic on our website, which is probably at this point a good stage just to check in on and see where will you potentially fail in change and what can you do to set yourself up for success. Then it's about action. What are the key actions, the next things you need to do to put all these good plans that have been developed into action? And to me, it's about what can you do in the next 90 days? Where are you now? Where will you be in 90 days? And what are the key strategies and action? It's really important to actually get some traction and to start the journey. The next 90 days is key. Agility and speed is also important. We shouldn't spend too much time reviewing or resetting or regrowing as a phase. We need to get into market and then iteratively go back, review what worked, what didn't, reset where you need to, review and reappraise your sales and marketing plans and your product and market priorities for growth. I encourage you to do this reasonably quickly, to move through it and get into implementation, and then go back and refine, then go back and actually look at what's working and what's not. So, thank you. Whilst it may seem for some businesses who are in the middle of the COVID storm or COVID challenges that this is maybe too early, but it's not. We need to look ahead to the road to recovery. Many companies are already there, and you can see them in the market. You should be there as well if you're not already. So let's not slide into the new normal. Let's look at reimagining and grabbing the opportunities that we need to make for ourselves to move forward. It truly is a time for a reset. So look, on my website, there's some resources, as I talked about all the way through, diagnostics like change, some tools and templates, videos and webinars. So please have a look at those, as well as obviously this playbook with links to all those resources. If you'd like to have a chat to me about it, please give me a call or send me an email. Happy to point you in the right direction or jump on a quick Zoom call to step you through the process as it may apply for you. So thanks very much, and I look forward to hearing about all your success.